Well, greetings everyone. Welcome to this week's Monty Man's Meditorial entitled Dealing with Mockers. Have you ever met someone who, no matter what you said, did, or thought, they insisted on attacking you? They would criticize and mock you. Well, I have. But it's been a few years since the last attack on my character. That is, until a few days ago. Well, years ago in high school, I came across a poem entitled The Law of Life. The poem depicted a tree that, when left to its own devices with no support from other trees, would wither up and die. The poem meant a lot to myself and a few other friends. And one such friend from high school requested that I send her a copy of the poem. So, I obliged her and posted it on her social media page. Had I known the chaos that was about to take place, I would never have posted it. Well, we have all seen how mean, cruel, and vicious some people can be on social media sites, and for the most part, it's usually over controversial issues or political positions of which some can be very passionate. Well, in this case, the slaughter began over the content of a simple poem. It started out by an attack on the poem's inaccuracy in describing how a tree left to its own could possibly become unhealthy. I was informed that the poem had lost all meaning because it was technically inaccurate in its description of the tree. Well, when I responded by stating that perhaps people were missing the point of the poem, I was further attacked by a man who suggested that I was being inappropriate by sending a married woman a romantic poem. Obviously, the poem had no romantic qualities in it whatsoever, but had this individual actually read the poem, he would have known that. This is what the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous refers to as contempt prior to investigation. Unfortunately, there are those who wake up in the morning with a chip on their shoulder, ready to take on anyone who disagrees with them or even has a different perspective on any given issue. They are right fighters, claiming to their so-called right to be all-knowing and all-powerful. The sad truth is, they tend to be very unhappy folk that desire nothing more than to suck the joy out of others. They are what the poet Robert Service referred to as emotional vampires. The Bible calls these people mockers. So, what can a person do when we encounter such unfortunates? Well, the good book suggests that we bless those who persecute us, that we do not allow ourselves to be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Sounds like great advice, but just how do we go about that? Well, the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous gives one of the best directions I have ever read on a clear method of handling just such people that offend us. The following comes from page 66 and 67 of the third edition. It states, "This was our course. We realized that the people who wronged us were perhaps spiritually sick. Though we did not like their symptoms and the way they disturbed us, they, like ourselves, were sick too. We asked God to help us show them the same tolerance, pity, and patience that we would cheerfully grant a sick friend. When a person offended, we said to ourselves, 'This is a sick man. How can I be helpful to him? God, save me from being angry. Thy will be done.' We avoid retaliation or argument. We wouldn't treat sick people that way. If we do, we destroy our chance of being helpful. We cannot be helpful to all people, but at least God will show us how to take a kindly and tolerant view of each and every one." Well, now I have to admit, In this particular circumstance, my flesh began to raise up and defend itself. But I had to stop, retreat, and totally disengage from the insanity that was theirs, and theirs alone. I left the conversation and chose not to return. Sometimes the only healthy decision has to be one of separating ourselves from the toxic discourse that seeks to destroy us. What is most helpful for me to remember is that phrase that I just read, "They, like ourselves, were sick too." That helps me to see all involved on a level playing field, the one we are truly all on. I am no better than they, and they no better than I. So today, I'm asking God to help me from being angry, to show me how I can be helpful. And today's answer came with a clear message: walk away. Well, until next time, this is the Monty Man, and I am wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.